Chapter 5 A New Place to Live. The chapel stood to the north of the palace in the courtyard. The entrance to the chapel was on the west side. Teacher Lord Alon held the large wooden door open for Lanoya. Inside was a long corridor that appeared to run the length of the chapel. The energy bubbled inside her as she moseyed into the building. Lanoya tilted her head and examined the gray and white bricks. The walls are boring. I wonder why I feel drawn to them. Teacher Lord Alon cleared his throat. In here, little girl. Lanoya turned to see that he had opened another door. She glanced back at the mysterious walls before entering the room. It was lined with dark wooden benches and a podium in the front. Several large blankets with intricate stitches forming strange shapes were hung around the room. A large paper with lines and words occupied half of the back wall. Her fingers traced the symbols in the air. What are these? Teacher Lord Alon did not respond. Lanoya turned around and he was gone. So much for being responsible for me and seeing to it I draw some flowers. I would like to create something. Maybe these strange shapes. She circled the room and examined each blanket. The person who made them used immense detail. Closer examination of shapes did not help her understand them. Someone did intricate work. I would like to create something like this. She glanced around the room. The drawing that hung on the back wall, although well done, did not hold the same mystery as the blankets. I need to find something to draw these shapes on so I can keep them. Lanoya turned at the sound of the door. 3 women entered the room, a short, stocky woman with gray hair and stern face, a tall, slender woman with black hair and fair skin, and the last had brown hair. The stern old woman spoke. I am Teacher Lady Melusa. She pointed first to the woman with brown hair. This is Teacher Lady Kitess. She then pointed to the slender woman. And this is Teacher Starlee. And what is your name? Lanoya released the blanket and she had been examining. My name is Lanoya. Teacher Lady Kitess' soft green eyes searched her up and down. Lanoya, you have no family, no place you call home, and no idea what this chapel is or why you are here. Is that correct? Lanoya's eyes opened wide. Were those statements or questions? How am I supposed to answer that? Teacher Starlee's brown eyes bored into Lanoya. Teacher Devon is the only other person I have seen with this much power and talent flowing through his body. You will make an excellent teacher. I am certain of it. Lanoya raised her eyebrows. Teacher Devon? Power and talent flowing through me? What power? How would she know? Teacher? Teacher of what and who? Why would I want to be a teacher? Teacher Lady Kitess interrupted her thoughts. Teacher Starlee has the power of a seeker. That means the land blessed her with the power to seek out others' powers and talents. She can determine one's current talent as well as one's potential to use their talents or power. Many with the power of an imitator are not adept at drawing. However, most of them can learn. According to Teacher Lord Alon, you have a natural drawing abilities. Lanoya's eyes opened wider. How does he know I can draw? He has not seen me do anything. What power are you talking about? If I had some special power or talent, I would not be here. I would not have been left to live alone in my alley. Teacher Lady Melusa's eyes narrowed. Teacher Lord Alon is a visionary. He has obviously seen something you draw in the future, not to mention what you did in the gardens. You are too young to do that without some innate abilities, especially since you have not had anyone to teach you. Now that you are here, you will have proper lessons and learn the correct way of doing things. Teacher Lady Kitess interjected. People can be born with any of 14 of the 15 powers of the land. Not everyone is blessed with the power of the land, and no one has been known to have more than one kind of power. I have the power of an interpreter. It means I can interpret situations, underlying intentions, and simple facts about people. Your power of an imitator inspires you to admire and perhaps recreate obscure, beautiful things, as did the person who created those tapestries. Lanoya raised an eyebrow. You are saying some power makes me draw or sculpt things I find fascinating or beautiful? Teacher Lady Kitess chuckled. The power enhances the lines, colors, and images you see. It gives you the ability to make what you create come to life or appear real to anyone that sees it. You can use your power to show the people the beauty you find in the land. Lanoya scoffed. I've been sketching, drawing, and building things my whole life. No one sees what I see. They laugh at me and destroy what I have done. I do not have some special power. Teacher Lady Melusa was barely a head taller than Lanoya, but her eyes bored down into Lanoya's soul. The old woman leaned in closer. I cannot stop your life flow, not without a share and a life sensor. I can, however, stop your imitating power. Lanoya's breath caught in her throat. The energy that tingled through her veins was gone. All her muscles tightened, making movement impossible. The evil woman's lips curled into an ugly smile. You are feeling the loss of the power of the land, the power you claim not to have. You will learn to respect, appreciate, and use that power appropriately. You will not question those of us that are here to help you. Is that understood? Is she saying she is the reason I cannot move or breathe? Then she is killing me. If I agree with her, then maybe she will let me breathe again. Lanoya struggled to nod her head. Teacher Lady Melusa blinked her eyes and lowered her shoulders. The energy surged through Lanoya's limbs again, and her muscles relaxed, and she could breathe again. How? What? Why? Teacher Lady Kaites shook her head. Teacher Lady Melusa has the power of a blocker. She can block people from using their power. She uses it as a teaching method or a way to control a situation. Do not worry. She cannot permanently block your power. Lanoya faked a smile. I will not be fine. Sabine tried to drown me, and this teacher lady has some power that can dry up my insides, and you think I will be fine? I am leaving the first chance I get. Teacher Lady Kaites seemed to read her mind. If you run off, you will not discover what the symbols on the tapestries mean. If you stay, perhaps we will get Teacher Salasha of the sign readers to come and explain them to you. Lanoya eyed her. It is a trick. I know it is, but I do want to know what those signs on the tapestries mean. How can this place have so many wonderful things and be so scary at the same moment? Teacher Lady Melusa interrupted. We all have other things we need to be doing. Come, I will introduce you to Teacher Lord Humby, and you can get started on that painting for Lady Edwima. Lanoya frowned. I guess that Lord Alon passed me off to someone else, and thankfully that this mean old woman is going to do the same thing. Once I finish those flowers, they will probably send me away. Teacher Lady Kaites winked at Lanoya. We will bring Teacher Salasha in here on another sun and discover what the symbols mean. Lanoya attempted a smile. Thank you. Thank you. I think Teacher Lady Kaites means well. At least she explains things and pretends to understand. I wish she was the one in charge instead of Teacher Lady Melusa. Teacher Lady Melusa cleared her throat. Are you trying my patience? When I say go, we go. Lanoya's stomach growled. She placed her hands over it to hide her hunger. I have not eaten in over a sun. I doubt that Teacher Lady Melusa will care. I feel sorry for anyone that had her as a mother. I would not want her to be my grandmother either. I would rather have a mother like Teacher Lady Kaites. She answers my questions before I ask them, and she does not shoo me away like a little annoyance. Teacher Starley laughed. I do not have to be an interpreter to see this child is hungry. Perhaps I can take her to the eating room and can show her around after you finish with your learners. Teacher Lady Melusa growled. Very well. She stormed out of the room. Lanoya peered up at Teacher Lady Kaites. Maybe you can make me something to eat? Teacher Lady Kaites smiled. I am sorry, dear. As a lady, I was not taught how to prepare meals. I have learners awaiting their lessons. I am certain Teacher Starley can find you something, if you will excuse me. She nodded and scurried off. Lanoya stared at her feet. I guess she does not care about me as much as I thought. At least she was nice about it. Teacher Starley patted Lanoya on the back. Come along, dear. There will be plenty of biscuits and cheese in the kitchen. Lanoya shuffled down the corridor behind Teacher Starley. I do not understand this place. No one in my village wanted me, and I was given a blanket and an alley to stay out of their way. Everyone here says I am wanted, but they do not want to be around me. Although I am allowed inside and I will get to eat, and maybe I will be left alone to draw. She bumped into Teacher Starlee, who turned around with a frown on her face. Do pay attention to where you are going. She pointed at the table. Have a seat. Lanoya sat down and rested her arms on the smooth wood. She slid her hands across the table. The wood changes colors, but the texture stays the same. I wonder what these little lines are for around the little spots. She swirled her fingers around the dot on the table. Teacher Starlee bustled about with her back to Lanoya. She turned around with a plate full of food and a cup of water. Stop playing with the knots on the table. She nudged Lanoya's hand away with the edge of the plate. Knots? If it does not bump up, it does not bump up. It is quite smooth like the rest of the table. Teacher Starlee groaned. Do not trouble yourself with silly terminologies. Eat up. If no one comes to fetch you, find your way back to the meeting room. Do not worry. Teacher Lady Melusa will not forget about you. Lanoya watched Teacher Starlee leave the room. Knots, terminologies, I do not understand any of it. The smell of food wafted up to her nose. She pulled the plate closer and stuffed a biscuit in her mouth. It melted off her tongue. This is scrumptious, and there's so much of it. If staying here means I get to eat like this, it might be worth it. With her stomach full, Lanoya yawned. I suppose my questions will have to wait, assuming I can find someone willing to answer them. She slid under the table and laid down. I wish I had my blanket. At least there's a fire in here so I will not get cold. I hope no one pours water on me again. She closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep.